Are you deciding to try out Linux? Maybe you want to start fresh using a Unix-like system, or use it as your daily driver, or just hack around and tinker with Linux. But are there doubts in your head that's stopping you from trying out Linux? This video will hopefully help you better understand what Linux has to offer and some challenges that you might have to overcome. So here we go. First off is new user interfaces. Users who are already used to working on popular OS like Windows and OS X usually have a hard time adjusting to new Linux UIs. Sure, you might install a Linux that looks very similar to Windows and Mac, but apart from that Start menu button and dock bar, you will still encounter a unique layout for accomplishing a task that otherwise would be done differently on Windows or Mac. However, if you're a creative type person, I'm sure you wouldn't have any trouble getting used to new user interfaces. So your first challenge is getting familiar with new user interfaces. Linux systems are powerful underneath, but most of us tend to decide if a Linux distro is okay based on its look and feel, and any Linux distro that you end up choosing will have a unique user experience, so being open-minded and a little bit of curiosity will help a lot for Linux newbies and switching to Linux users. Next is getting familiar with new software. And for this, I have broken down into three subsections ranging from everyday regular computer users to advanced users. If you are just a normal user that requires a popular modern web browser, Linux offers the same solution like most other proprietary operating systems. You can either use Firefox or Google Chrome or Opera browser regardless of what Linux distro you choose. Now for everyday productivity users that rely on Office Suite, image editing software, animation software, etc., you'd have to rely on alternative software. For instance, LibreOffice for Office Suite, GIMP for image editing software, and Blender for 3D modeling and animation. This is a big step for most of you since this usually requires learning something new. But the great news is these alternative software are so or almost similar in functionality to the mainstream ones. The next type of users are the developers. Your choice is pretty simple. Making apps for Linux, Linux is for you. Else, if you're targeting some other operating system, Linux is not the right choice for you. And last but not the least is your time and patience. Choosing a modern Linux distro and getting familiar with it is easy, but it also demands your effort in learning the how and understanding Linux. Which file extension to use while saving a Word document, how to browse and install software, what long-term support means, why MP4 files doesn't work on Linux. Some problems are easy to solve and some are difficult not just for normal users but experienced tech gurus too. And maybe someday you might need to switch to another Linux distro because you feel it offers a feature that suits your taste and preference. Linux will definitely prove to be challenging sometimes, but with time and patience, you can conquer them anyway.